4 hours. Okay, hey.
Hey.
Van Jones. Van Jones is here.
Hello.
Okay,
Yeah.
we just did this dope, amazing town hall with Topeka K. Sam, who is my hero. She is.
And we're serious, trying to be serious.
All right. So we've never met before. This is like the first time because you were on the phone last time and it was a janky phone. I was annoyed because I'm like, why couldn't he just come in? And you had all these assistants. I was like, this is important. And it was important, but you took time out to be on here to talk about coding, and that was great. So thank you for telling me that that's still happening, because we need to follow up on that. Because again, I'm about getting stuff done.
YesWeCode.org.
Are we close to 100,000?
No, we're not close to 100,000.
How far are we away?
Very far, but part of the thing is, trying to get folks from our communities trained and then hired, because
that's the end goal.
It's the hired. So, but
there seems to be more jobs than people, and we are outsourcing.
Yes.
So this seems to be an easy problem to fix. This is why I'm saying I'm solutions oriented.
Yes.
So is there some sort of measure of like where we are now, and like how they do in the churches with the building funds? Like the little thermometer, and then we go up. Is there a place where we can go to see where we are?
I think you're going to see a big breakthrough in the Twin Cities. N4, which is owned and run by an African American CEO. It's one of the biggest cloud computing companies in the world. And cloud computing, people don't think about. They think, oh, well, it's just the cloud. No, it's a bunch of people in a building coding. It's just not in your office anymore. Right. And so that's a great opportunity to train folks. You say, well, you're going to go work at Google, you're going to work at Facebook. You can go work for a cloud computing company and make a good living. And maybe someday you might go work for Google as well. But that's what we're aiming folks at.
And a good living for people who don't know. Like these jobs start at $80,000. Without a college education, without student loan debt, you can, come out of high school with the skills to be able to make $80,000, which is important. It's better than working at McDonald's.
Yeah, a little bit. So so that's good.
We wanted to have this conversation because I did have 1,000,000,001 questions, and not to belabor the whole sellout thing, but I think to get to a place where people can receive what you're saying, because I struggle with this too. My delivery sucks a lot of times. No, it does. And I recognize that those are my frailties as a person is that I'm very blunt, and I don't really figure out nice ways to say things, even though I could. And maybe it's lazy, but I surround myself with people who can speak a lot of different languages. You know what I'm saying? And can reach people in a lot of different ways. Like Laura Coates is on our channel. Who can speak.
Yeah.
No, stop. Okay. She was on my show first, so I just want Laura Coates was on.
Let's be clear.
She was on Pete Dominic, and then she was on the Karen Hunter show, and then now she's on CNN with you. We love her. Yeah, but again, Minnesotan, speaks differently, committed to the mission of justice, but she can reach people that I can't reach. So,
but the reason I want to talk to you is because I want on film, and I want on our cameras as well. There's real passion and frustration with Van Jones right now, and nobody will tell me to my face what people are saying. And
you must not have the right friend.
Exactly.
All you need to do is call me. I would have told you what they were saying, Van Jones. I would have told you what I was saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Van Jones.
What were you saying?
I was frustrated by not just that moment that we talked about on the town hall with he's presidential, but the interview you did with Jared Kushner pissed me off on some level. Jared Kushner is not qualified to sit in the seat that he's in. Right? And I feel like people who like you, who work to go to law school, to become the person that you are, who had to go travel through all of these different things to sit in a position to be able to make a difference. This guy literally was handed, you're in charge of Israel, prison. I mean, it's like, who are you? But a bankrupt business person whose daddy's in jail. Like, that's how I feel about it. And every time someone like you sits with someone like him, you give him validation. Anytime you sit with a Donald Trump, and it's the same problem I had with Steve Harvey going there, and Martin Luther King III going there for that photo op, coming down in front of the gold elevators. Kanye West, I'm still reeling from that, because the validation that you give someone who has a history of redlining, Central Park 5, still hasn't apologized to those 5 beautiful people, and I gotta stop calling them that. I need to call them by their names. Kevin, Youssef, Corey. Let me see if I can get it all. Kevin, Youssef, Corey, come on, help me. Kevin Richardson, Youssef Salam, Corey Wise, and Antron McCray, and why am I forgetting the fifth one?
Ava.
No, but they're young boys who had their lives stolen from them by an evil, corrupt system, and this man spent $85,000 to call for the death penalty before they even had due process as a lawyer. Like, come on. They didn't even go to trial. And then they were convicted with no physical evidence. None of the sperm matched them. No blood evidence. Nothing to convict them, and they were all railroaded, and then they were exonerated. And no apology?
So why were you mad at me?
It was displaced. So maybe some of it was displaced, but
at the time, how did I mean?
But at the time, it's like you represent power, and you represent the ability to speak truth to power, because you're sitting there. You got a seat at the table. You got entree. And I guess in many ways, it's like that moment Kanye during Hurricane Katrina, where he goes on camera and says George Bush doesn't care about black people, and we were all like, we all know that, but Kanye said it on camera. And in many ways, that catapulted him into a position that he wouldn't have had. And even though he got a lot of backlash in the black community, we were like, yeah, George Bush doesn't care about... He flies over, good job, black people are dying, kiss my ass. So I think it was that, the validation that someone in your position gives to somebody like that. And it wasn't like hateful, because I don't know you. But I just feel like, our responsibility as black people, and those of us who have the microphones, those of us who have the ears and the eyes of people, bear a different responsibility than anyone else,
And so if you were somebody from the community or barbershop, nail salon, community center, like, I mean, how was it landed?
Like, what is he doing? And I think some of us, because I can't speak for all people, and I'm not into cancel culture per se. I don't believe in throwing away anybody. Maybe. But I think it landed. Okay, that doesn't matter. We're not in a position where. Because media is still dependent the way CNN and others. I'm sorry.
No. I just it's okay to have it on. I just wanted to get it slightly out of the shot.
The way that CNN and others were taking hits for giving Trump $1 billion worth of advertising and $1 billion worth of eyeballs, right, for free. Our black media is also wedded to Silicon Valley in a way that their funding comes from. We're not self-funded. I think Sean King just launched something that is, committed to that. But, outside of that, we don't really have a black media. So I don't even, and I'm just being real. Yeah. So I have the same criticism, like, what is with edges being snatched and all of this stuff in your headlines? Like, that's not journalism. Where's our journalism? Yeah. There's stuff going on all over the globe that we don't see in these outlets.
Well, I mean,
Shade Room? Come on, what are we doing? Yeah.
For me, I don't, I misunderstood the environment that I was operating in. I thought that, when I'm on CNN every night kicking Donald Trump in the face, every night, like, and I'm not gonna, I don't mean to be arrogant, but, when it's time for me to spit, I can spit. And that I thought I had built up some credit to them if I need to, and frankly, not only politically need to, but also just ethically. Like, my view is, I can't kick your butt hard when you're wrong if I'm not willing to cheer just loud when you're right. I have a problem with that. Now, that you're going to be wrong 99 times and you're going to be right once. But I feel like ethically, I can't just sit up here, like a lot of my liberal friends do, kick his butt when he's wrong, and then when he's right, won't give him his credit.
I think you're right there.
But the media system doesn't operate that way. So I literally would kick his butt night after night after night after night. Now, Trump knows. Jared knows that they don't like it. But that doesn't register with us. Fox News don't like it. It registers with them. But with us, is if you're a black progressive saying, tough stuff, but that's not even news. Nobody cares. But if you say one thing that's positive, and maybe it's overstated, maybe it's hyperbolic, whatever, but if you say one thing, that becomes the defining thing. And I didn't realize I was operating in an environment that unforgiving.
So I'm going to school you a little bit on media. I had a contract with MSNBC, and I realized that there was a conspiracy to do the soundbite television. And you actually do, you and Kamau Bell and others, before Anthony Bourdain, you do different television, and it's heartwarming. Let me just say that. But usually it's left, right, fight, 2 minutes, soundbite, and that's all you have, which is why I tell my listeners, turn it off. Yeah. You're not going to be educated watching the breaking news. That's the breaking news on every channel. The same panel is talking about the same things in the same kind of way. We're not left, right. We're Americans. So every issue is nuanced or has different shades that need to be explored, but that producers are so lazy and inept that they don't know how to produce television that actually is like what I grew up watching, Walter Cronkite, where I get the news, I can filter it myself, and if you want to have a Dick Cavett or someone like that have meaningful conversation and dialogue around it, then you have that. You bring it back. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't exist now. Now you have things for clicks, ratings, and eyeballs. And if we're going to be honest, Urban View has maybe 3-4 times more listeners than CNN has viewers on any given moment.
I'm sure that's true.
All right? No, that's a fact. So I made a decision that I wasn't going to do television, even though they push television, because television gives you,
visibility.
I don't want visibility. I need solutions and action. I need something to get done. Going on there may be great for my Twitter following, but it's not going to be great for what we need to get done in this community. Now, you have, again, you and others on the weekend, great platforms because you can have conversations that actually get to someplace, like people talking to one another. It's beautiful. But going on a CNN with your facts, and they're facts, it get lost in a loud thing. When I used to go on, only thing people cared about was my outfit. Or you had on a jacket, or I did something, with my face, and it becomes a meme now. And people are looking for those viral moments when they go on. I destroyed you, and it becomes like a rap battle. As opposed to what it's supposed to be, media that people consume and can disseminate what's happening, because that's not what's there.
Well,
So,
I mean, I'm struggling because I am on TV, and that is a big part of the game. And it's weird because if you talk to the Trump White House, what they remember about this past year is that I went, after the State of the Union, I went and tore Trump a new one because
that's what they heard.
Yeah, because I said his speech was a psychotic mix of cookies and dog poop, literally.
You did say that. I remember that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Trump White House, that was like somebody threw a hand grenade in there because I'm the one liberal that they work with, and I'm not giving them credit. And that was a speech where he put formerly incarcerated people in the speech. They thought Van Jones was going to come out on CNN and praise him to the high heavens for that. I said, not in the same speech where you're attacking immigrants. I said, if you give a clean speech on criminal justice, I'll support it. But if you mix that up with a bunch of stuff I can't support, I'm not going to ban them out, immigrants, sisters and brothers. So the Trump White House was furious at me on that. But then you turn around, and I went to CPAC a couple weeks later, and I said, a true statement, I said, a bunch of these Republican governors are now leading on criminal justice. Van Jones is a sellout. So,
but you gave him credit for leading.
Yes.
Like, people have been in the trenches for decades.
Introducing bills.
Well, they didn't have the ability. If you're on the ground as a soldier, you have the ability.
Like me for 15 years. So
Right.
if that's what I'm saying. If I can say that Jerry Brown, who California governor, was a mass incarcerator until the very end.
That is true.
But deal in Georgia was reducing the population, and Rick Perry in Texas, Republican, closed 8 prisons.
Right.
And I'm talking facts.
Yes.
On that, you're leaving.
Yes.
Van Jones is the seller.
Right.
So
that's tough.
So what I'm saying is that we say that the Trump people are post-truth, but we're post-truth too. Because if I get up and say what's absolutely factually true, people get triggered. And it goes into that deep trauma that we're being re-traumatized.
That's what I'm say.
Re-traumatized.
There's a history here, so it's not just you praising a Rick Perry.
Mm-hmm.
Oops,
terrible on the death penalty and great on prison.
Yes,
that's true. It's a fact.
And I'm the queen of saying two things can be true, so I'm struggling right
See
now.
what I'm saying?
Because you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
But
that's why I'm saying the retrenchment of black moral leadership. Where we are now, cancel culture is the opposite of black moral leadership.
Right.
Black moral leadership, nuance, soul people, jazz,
right. But there's
hip-hop.
nobody who's on the forefront. If we're being honest, let's have an honest conversation. Who do you think is? Because first of all, no more charismatic leadership.
Nope.
We should be done with that. We need systems. We need systems that can't be destroyed by individuals, taking people out. But who leads black people right now? Who's somebody that has a moral?
Look, I honestly love Jay-Z and Beyonce for what they're doing with the culture. I'm just saying what they're doing with the culture, and I see Jay-Z now trying to do more on criminal justice reform. I think Ava DuVernay, she may be that voice in a different way. Maybe Dr. King would have used a pulpit. Maybe Obama would have used a polling booth. Maybe she would use a producer's hat. But but look. I don't know. All I'm saying is I made a lot of mistakes, and I don't know. But I don't know. You talk about solutions. I don't know what my solution is because I know.
Let me tell you. Sitting there, what you said at the end with Topeka, I shifted And not that I just want to win.
Yeah.
I need us to win. And I think, I'm about to do a podcast on this. We play more poker than we do chess. And chess is a very precise game of exact moves and exact rules. We're not living in a world with exact rules, and the rules are already stacked against us. We're always playing black. And we're always at the front of the board being sacrificed. So it's a different kind of thing. I talk about pawns becoming queens, but to become a queen on a chessboard as a pawn is damn near impossible. I push that, but we're actually playing poker, which is a game we can win because of the invariables. You get different hands and how you play your hands and how you and you can bluff and you can we need to be many different things. And I feel like blackness for me, because I grew up similarly to you, very middle class, very privileged. And, I wear my privilege. Like, I don't expect to not get everything that I want.
Exactly.
Someone asked me, how does race show up? It doesn't show up until someone makes it show up, and God help them. So I'm not the one to deal with your racism. You're going to pay for that. And that's kind of how I'm a very combative person. But when I see us collectively, I want us to win, all of us.
Okay.
Me winning's not good enough.
You said something shifted when we were talking.
Yeah, when you were talking about not just making mistakes, because we can all, but that there was a strategy and that your goal was very similar to my goal. I can relate to that, and maybe, how you did it didn't sit right for me. And I guess there was a wink and a nod and an advocacy. And again, like, when I look at, past leadership, there was always somebody that could be, whether it was Barrett Rustin or Ella Baker, who you have an organization devoted to, who was talking to a lot of different people. So everyone was on the same page, even if they all argued and called each other names behind their backs or in their faces, because that happened, right? But there was one person that was central to say, stop, let's, like I'm even thinking about like how we can have public fake fights that will, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, we know we're good, we're instructing, we make up, so people get to see what that looks like, and for the record, this is real. I've never met Van Jones in person till today, but like even those kinds of things, we need to be strategic about.
Yeah, look, I mean,
because the Republicans do they have fake allies and fake fights, and then they all get together, and they huddle up, and they all vote the same. You're like, well, Susan Collins, what the hell? I thought you were. I thought you were different. No.
And then she gave a long speech for Kavanaugh.
Child.
But look, Al Sharpton and Mark Morial are the two people who are ahead of me in line, who I check in with, who talk to me and who try to give me some direction. But honestly, I just
is this camera on? Okay.
Yeah, but I honestly, that said, I honestly just do a lot on my own, and that's what I'm
that's
trying.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
because you being in your sister said that you grew up in your own headspace, and that's a dangerous place to be. I challenge myself too, because I'm a similar person. Because when you have a thought, you just want to get to the, and you're clear about where you need to go. However we get there, we're going to get there. So I don't even think you should apologize for making mistakes. Mistakes are not mistakes. They're just learning tools, right? So, but if I have any, you didn't ask me for advice.
I'll take it up.
Yeah, broaden your pool of people that you go to, because the time is up for people who were doing things the way they've been doing things for the last 40 years and relying on organizations that no longer are relevant to the vast majority of black people, if they ever were. I'm going to say that organizations without a clear, definable mission to accomplish something in this time will go by the wayside, and have already seen their leadership monies dry up, and having to rely on government funds is never, because you're serving two masters. You can't take advice from someone that's serving two masters. So I always follow the money, and I always ask what the gain is. And, as far as us, and I just, you do firmly see yourself as black in this fight. I just want to be clear about that, right? And so what does that mean, ultimately, for us?
Look, I mean, for me, black moral leadership has always been at the forefront of all the progressive fights. When you look at any progressive fight, even the environmental fight, which people see as a white fight, Native Americans were the first custodians and stewards of the whole damn thing. So how is that a white fight? So if you go through all these fights, and so for me, Look, I don't feel like I always have to lead with saying, black, because I think people may have noticed I'm black.
Right.
And so, and I'm also the constituency that I'm trying to deal with when you're dealing with addiction, when you're dealing with incarcerated people, when you're dealing with criminal justice, is so overwhelmingly black that a big part of my job is to make sure that that doesn't actually become a challenge for people to find that relatability,
right.
to find that human connection. But for me, and again, I don't explain myself, which is a mistake. I don't talk to a lot of people. I'm a hermit. Most of the time,
I get that.
I do my show, and I try.
All you need to tell people is that you're a Virgo, and they will get that. That's all. You need to lead with that, man. Jones, I'm helping you out here. I'm a Virgo. They will be like, okay, I get it. That's all you need to say.
But for me, I feel like, our people are very insecure. Like, I've been black my whole life. Look, I don't know that many people who've closed a single prison. I've closed 5. I don't know that people who've passed a single bill on criminal justice. We've done 18 in the past.
Come on.
I just don't know that many people who've done as much. So,
right.
But image over impact, rhetoric over results is the fact.
We're conditioned.
And so then this cancel culture is like, well, Van Jones has been on CNN for 6 years. If you look at everything that Van Jones has said, I agree with 99% of it. And he said it better than I could. But he said that one thing I don't like, and
that's it. Right.
I don't know what to do with that.
Right. So don't do anything with it, and keep having these conversations, because ultimately it's a chipping away. Cancel culture doesn't have more power than your actions, ultimately, because most of the people out there flapping their gums, as you pointed out, have done nothing. So I'm never worried about being canceled, because you kiss my ass. Do more than I am, and then you can talk. Mirror up. What are you doing? And so as long as you keep that to the forefront with defiance, don't apologize. You're going to be all right in having these conversations and aligning yourself with people like Topeka, who is spiritually led and is doing the work. And you judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. That's what I've been taught, right? So, and I want to just thank you for being willing to have this conversation. The other impression was that you weren't willing to have meaningful dialogue.
But I wasn't, because I was too hurt.
Okay, and that was so because who can't relate to that? Who can't relate to not having the words, is what you said. Your pain, of being like, I don't know who could withstand what you withstood. And I'm combative. I wish somebody would try to, like, I would be out there on the streets fighting people. That you kept your composure and still got up every day and did your job speaks to your character. But also to admit that you were in pain about it and couldn't speak about it also speaks to your character. So I was like, I shifted. I was like, all right, man, you all right? You all right? You all right? We can do some things. So I want to help with the coding.
Yeah, let's stay together.
Look,
Yes We Code. Yes We Code is finally about to. It just, some things it just takes longer than it should. But I think both mayors and the Twin Cities are going to be behind us now. And once we get 10,000, 20,000 young people in Prince's hometown area going, it's going to be
because that's how that works.
That's how that works.
And prison industrial complex, we're here for it. All right, thank you. All right,
thank you. I appreciate you. That's
next
good.
Time.
I'm sorry, walking on in front of your lens.
I don't care. All right, till next time, people.
All right,
love y'all.
And all that.
Get out of here. End. There we go. End.